How do? So, you've obviously clicked on this video hoping to see a review of the new Fanstoys FT-59 Sovereign 2.0, their second attempt at a Galvatron, masterpiece scale Galvatron. And that is kind of what you're going to see. However, I started recording it and I started doing it, and I got probably about 2/3 of the way through the review, and I lost enthusiasm for it. I kind of ran out of steam with it, and it came apparent to me. While I was talking to the camera and going through the accessories and things like that, and because I'd get into the figure as you do, I started just thinking to myself, why have I bought this? Why have I bought it? Now, I'm not being negative for negative's sake, and I'm not being down on it. But I just want to be honest. I'm being honest with myself, and I want to be honest with you. Because if you're going to watch this with a view of maybe, foolishly taking into consideration the things that I say and my opinions that I have on these things, but if you're considering going out and buying this figure for yourself, maybe just a little something to consider. Not wishing to intentionally put you off in any way, shape or form. No, not at all. But like I say, I just got to be honest. I've got to be honest. And especially so if you already have the 1.0 version, the original FT-16 Sovereign. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about that. I'm just going to get the figures side by side, and I'm just going to have a little bit of a ramble and just tell you what I think, rather than going through the whole shtick of a review. Because I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. But if you do want to see the stuff that I have recorded that would have made up that review, I will tag it to the end. I'll tack it on to the end of this. So when I finish discussing and telling you what I think, you'll then be able to watch the bits that I did record, because I'm not going to do anything more with them. They're abandoned. That's it. I'm not going to add to them. So yeah, so that's it. So I'll swap the camera over, and I'll then talk about what I want to say about the figure. Okay, so here we have Sovereign 2.0 in his robot mode with his, I don't know, is it particle cannon, fusion cannon? I don't know what it is, but his arm cannon. I've gone for the translucent version because that's just the version that I prefer. And I've also taken the liberty of applying his Decepticon faction logo as well. So there we go. Right, what is it I want to say about it? Because I won't keep you too long. I'm not going to drag this out. Yes, it looks very, very, very pretty. It's very nice to look at. They've done a good job of Fanstoys on that side of things. Just looking all the way around it. The back portion is nice and tidy. The back of the legs. I like how they've done the back of the feet, the heels and things like that. The lower legs, I like that they've given more of a shape rather than just a cylinder. We've got more of a bit of a shape to the thigh. We like a shapely thigh. And then you've got the arms. Everything on this release of Sovereign is more rounded and sculpted than what it was in the first go. I mean, even to the feet. It looks like a swan's head to those feet. I've heard people say that they look like a duck. I think they probably look more like a swan, but duck, swan, goose, what does it matter? There's more shape. There's more shape to them. There's more shape around the arms and the lower arms and the upper arms. I do like the hands. The hands are really nice. I do appreciate a good. There's two things that I really do like on a masterpiece figure. Sorry, three things. There are three things. I sound like the Spanish Inquisition. There two things, two weapons. No, I appreciate diecast. I appreciate rubber tires, and I appreciate a well sculpted, posable hand. So yes, the hands are quite nice. I do like the colour. The colour is nice. I think they've got a good colour scheme going off there. The paint finish is usual Fans Toys level. It's impeccable for the most part. I mean, they do sometimes get it wrong. Case in point is Warhorse that I reviewed. Was it a month or two ago? There was some issues with that. I need to chase actually, because I've not heard anything back on that paint issue about that. So yeah, the paint's great. There is die-cast content in here. The plastic is good quality. Again, like I said, it's Fans Toys. What are you going to do? The face sculpt is nice. I like the metallic-y, chromey looking red of the eyes. And weight, I would say, is probably about as heavy, maybe just slightly lighter than Sovereign 1.0. Okay, I'm making no attempt to transform it. That ain't happening. Not here anyway. I'm not going to bother transforming it for this this little chat discussion that I'm having here. I probably will transform it at some point later to do some photos, but I'm not doing it for the video here. So yeah. I also like the inclusion of the light up feature in the particle fusion cannon barrel thing. I don't have any batteries that fit it, but I have tested it. I was able to test it and it does work. I have ordered some batteries. They should be arriving today actually. I was hoping that they would have arrived before I did this, but they haven't. So, but what are you going to do? And it takes a CR 1220 is the battery. It's like a 3 volt button cell battery. So that's what goes in there. Okay. Pleasantries aside and the positives aside, it's not negative that I want to say, but I have to point out there is just something about it that made me think, why have I bought it? Tell you what, I'm going to bring Sovereign 1.0 in. We're going to bring him in here. Now, standing them side by side, okay, you can see the obvious differences. You know, it does, you know, Fans Toys have put the effort and they've gone that extra mile to give us a more sculpted, more cartoon aesthetic accurate Galvatron. However, that said, it does feel, to me, it does feel a little bit of a downgrade. And that may sound odd when I've just said that it looks, you know, it does look aesthetically better than 1.0. But this is the reason why I'm not as sort of like, it's not blowing my skirt up as much as what I thought it would. I mean, maybe that's my fault. Maybe my expectations were too high. And now it's here, I'm kind of a bit disappointed. The first thing is that I will say is, it doesn't feel as well built as 1.0. 1.0 feels like a chunk. It feels like a good heft of a figure, solid in pretty much every way. This feels a little bit fragile. I mean, not to mention the fact that the backpack here just, you know, it doesn't tab in anyway. It doesn't secure, so it's just there. So, you know, there's that minor thing. I know, but you know, it's there. What's also happened as well is with this, because they've tried to go too inaccurate, it has affected the articulation. The articulation on 2.0 is nowhere near as good as what it is in 1.0. I'll give you an example here. So if I just get this arm here, right, that's as far as the arm bends. It doesn't, that's it. It doesn't go any further. But if we get 1.0, it goes all the way. You know, much better articulation. We've got, you know, you can bend the hand right over, where this only goes very slightly. Yes, like I mentioned a moment ago, the hands are infinitely better. Don't get me wrong, they are infinitely better. The other thing as well is, again, once I'm staying on articulation, I'm just moving on to different. With the fusion cannon, so we've got two positions for the. I'm going to call it fusion cannon. Balls to it. I don't know if it is, but I'm sticking. I made my choice. I'm sticking with it. So with it in, I'll call this position B. Yeah. So in position B, that's it. With it in being position B, it doesn't let you get the arm fully up, and that's all you get. Whereas 1.0, okay, yeah, that's the downside. That's one of the downsides of 1.0. This bloody thing kept dropping out of the peg hole, but I'm not. To be fair, I'm not bothered about that. I can live with that because I've got better articulation, because this allows you to get the arm fully up like that, as you can see. So you get the range of motion with it. Yeah. I'm going to leave it off for now. I'm going to leave it off because it keeps dropping off. Okay, so that's in position 1. You can then bring it up and turn it round like that, so he can go into his gun firing, you know, pose, if you will. And you can do the same with 1.0. Again, it's just a twist. Now, when you twist, you can keep the track treads underneath the arm, whereas when you do it on 2.0, it brings them out to the side. Yes, they're less unsightly as what they are on 1.0, but, you know, that's the thing there. So, oh yeah, that's the other thing as well. I made a comment on my last video, and I think it was a comment on a post on Facebook or something about fans' toys, and more recently they've been suffering with loose joints. This is a case, an example. So he holds there, but if I had to knock him down a notch, it doesn't hold. Yeah. And so I am going to have to tighten that joint up. I'm going to take the fusion cannon off that peg there, because I want to talk about the joints. So we have a soft ratchet, you know, in the upper arms here, but then you go to friction for the bending out like that, and it's same here with the elbows. They're based on friction. Move down to the legs. Yep, you've got ratchet joint there, and then just a bit of a friction, which gets you kind of like that. 1.0, take his fusion cannon off so it doesn't turn it. You get all the way back. So again, better articulation there, and you've got a twin ratchet joint on 1.0, where you've just got one ratchet on 2.0. You have, sorry, just move the flaps. You've got ratchets and a bit more range of movement up on the thighs here. On 2.0, they've gone for it in the moulding here, so there's no flaps at the front. Again, ratchet, kick you forward, yep, that's fine. And then that's as far back as it goes, so it doesn't go as far back. And then you've got the usual friction for the twist on the thighs, which 1.0 did as well. Head movement, again, it's not great. There's a slight bit of down, a bit more up, and you know, the twisty round thing. 1.0, probably same amount of head up and same amount of tilt down, so there's no difference or change there. So coming back to 2.0, because that's what we're here to talk about, they've put this little gimmick in the forearm crease of the joint there, so you can attach the gun, sorry, his fusion cannon there, like so. So you can have it like that. So that's your position. I'm going to call that position A. And again, it doesn't want to stay up. Oh, no, doesn't want to stay up. But that's not what the point I want to make. The point is that when you've got it in position A, you cannot bend that elbow joint. no, it's just not happening. It's not bending. You can bring it up in a firing position like that, you know, if the bloody shoulder joint will hold, but then you can't bring it out. So if you want to do a kind of pose where he's, say, firing off to the side, you're going to have to tilt it and then try and bring it back in. Yeah. But I don't know, for me, I think it's just a little bit unsightly. Whereas you don't have that problem with the 1.0 version. Well, there was another point I wanted to make, but it escapes me because I really sound that bothered, don't I? So yeah, so that's so they're not big things. They're not big things, but it's enough little things for me to be like, you know, have I made the right decision in going for it? And the honest answer to that question is I don't know. I still haven't decided yet whether or not I have made the right decision in getting this 2.0 version, albeit, you know, the slight, you know, negatives. I wouldn't say the negatives outweigh the positives, or do they? Or are they on a par? No, I think they're on a par, because I think that's what's made me think, you know, is it the right choice? Is it the right decision? But I do keep coming back to the fact that it does look really nice. He does look nice. The proportions are great. I can't deny that. It looks sleek. He's a better fit now, I would say, with Inquisitor and Quietus. But I just don't feel he has the quality of the previous model. Do you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense here. I know what I mean. But it's trying to convey that to you. So yeah, I'm still undecided. I am still undecided, if I'm honest. You will stay on. You will stay on. Oh, forget it. 2.0, 1.0. Which do you go for? That is entirely up to you. That is going to be entirely up to you. I cannot make that decision for you, and I wouldn't want to sway you either way. I'm just trying to convey and tell you what I think now that I've got them both here in hand. I'm gonna keep having a think on it, and when I do transform 2.0 into his canon mode, I will also transform 1.0 into his canon mode and compare them. I will be doing photos, and I think this one is probably going to benefit more from a written review rather than a video review, because I think I can put down on paper and articulate better really what I want to say about them in comparing them to each other and 2.0 on his own. But I did just want to point out to you initially what I thought, and that is that, yeah, I kind of feel that Fans Toys is losing something slightly. I just feel that there's a dip. They're still doing fantastic things. They really are. Inquisitor was sublime, and this is again. I keep coming back to saying it does look good. It looks very, very pretty. It looks very nice, but some of the articulation choices and the position of the fusion cannon, and I just kind of, I don't know. It feels like in some respects, it could be nothing more than an elaborate statue that has some movement here and there, which, if you're going to display him in one particular pose on your shelf, then that's not going to be an issue. But if you're a person that likes to pick them up and play about with them and do multiple different poses and things like that, then I don't know whether or not you're going to get the benefit out of it. I'm going to get to it. I mean, I refer back to the box. There are some poses on the back of the box that they've got him in, but and I've seen a few poses on the like the marketing for it and that, and I kind of feel that they've probably, in those images, they've probably got out of it the best that they can, and I think that maybe there isn't much more to be had out of those that they've done. But again, I always accept, and I'll hold my hand up. I could be wrong, and I kind of, when I come to do these things, I don't mean when I'm negative on things, but when I'm giving honest opinion and I call it as I see it, I do hope in some respects that I am wrong, because I want these figures to succeed and I want them to be good, but I just kind of think, there's just something, and yeah, I think I'm going to have a think about it a bit more and, put it in the written review. So anyway, that's it. We'll change back to the main cam. So I'm going to call it a day on that one. I'm going to leave it. Balls in your court. What do you think? Those of you that do have him, by all means, leave comments. Tell me how much I'm wrong, or tell me how much you agree with me. I'm interested to hear either way. But yeah, that's all I'm doing for this, I'm afraid. I just can't really think of anything else I want to say at the moment. I'm going to take a few more days to consider and have a mess about and play about with it. I'm going to get those loose joints tightened up and do a few photos. I'm going to bury my head in the written review, and then that'll be up on the Vaults of Icon website. You'll be able to read that, and hopefully it will be a bit more coherent and cohesive than what this is. So yeah, right, okay. Waffled on enough now. I'm going. If you want to, stick around and I will show you the bits that I had recorded, which are now abandoned, and it'll give you an idea of some of the things that I thought of the accessories and the packaging and things like that. Right, okay. Bye for now. I'll see you when I see you. How do? Well, it's a rather glum and rainy Saturday late afternoon, early evening, is it? It's dark outside anyway. And earlier today, should I say, I had a delivery. Would you like to see what it was? I'll show you then. It was this. It was a big brown box. Oh, so sorry, you want to know what's inside this big brown box? Right, I see. I'll show you then, shall I? We'll head over to the bench and we'll get it cracked open, shall we? There's the parcel. Here's my knife. Let's get it open. So I'm going to tackle it from the sides here first, because I don't want to run the knife over the top and end up slashing whatever might be inside. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just lift that up a bit there like that. The top. It's exciting, this, isn't it? Oh, I can see something. I can see a picture through the bubble wrap. It's upside down. It's upside down. How was I to know it was the right way up? Let's spin it around. I think we can already see and tell what it is. Lift that out. All right. Oh, noisy bubble wrap. Let's get rid of that box. Out the way. Oh, love the noise of the bubble wrap. Let's see if do we need the knife back? Here we do. There's a bubble wrap. Oh, it's in a bag as well. It's in a bag as well. Just careful not to cut my fingers. Like that. There we go. Fans Toys FT-59 Sovereign 2.0. Good stuff. Right, let's head back to the other camera at the desk, and we'll get the box open, shall we? Okay, right, back at the desk with Sovereign. It's a big box for this setup, I think, so I might struggle, but bear with me. We'll flip over and see where we are. Yeah, okay, so it is taking up quite a lot of the. But to be fair, it's not really the box we're bothered about. We'll have a quick scan round it. So that's the bottom of the box with the Sovereign in his cannon mode. We've just got some writing telling you what it does. Same there with the QR code, and then same round there. Back of the box, we've got just a bit of a readout, and then some images of him with Quietus and Inquisitor. And then the front of the box is that artwork. Yeah, it's let's see if I bring the camera up a little bit like that. That might. Yes, that banging noise you just said was my elbow. Ow. Right, that's a bit better. Okay, so we'll just have another smell. So yeah, we've got this lovely artwork of Sovereign in his robot mode and his cannon mode. Just the name and the designation there, and then there you go, it's in full view now, which is a lot better. Yeah, that's looking well. And then it's the same on the other side. It's just, yeah, we saw those bits. Right, let's get him open, shall we? So, need my knife again. We'll open him from the bottom. This is something that I've adopted pretty late on. I always used to open my boxes on the top, because I suppose that's just how you did it. You open things from the top. But probably about maybe 3, maybe 4 years ago, I was advised to start opening from the bottom. So then when you display it in the box, it preserves the shape of the box and it doesn't bow out at the top. Oh yeah, it's working for me. Is that my trusty metal ruler here to get down the sides so I don't damage the flap when I'm opening it. Now I wonder if I'm going to be greeted with that that polystyrene smell. Love that polystyrene smell. Let's turn it back the right way around now, shall we? I'll move the box out of the way. I'll pop it over there. There we go. Yep, that smells there. Lovely, love that smell. Okay, so immediately what we see here is the instructions and the collector card in this. Get this scratchy polystyrene back in and let's get him opened up. So I ordered this from Omega Lock, and like I say, it came in today via DPD. Are we ready? Let's get him that way around so it's the right way up. I'll just rest him against me there. I'm ready. It's very exciting, isn't it? And there he is. Just move that protective plastic away. I don't want to tip out because I don't want. I'll just hold him in position so he don't fall out. Well, I'd rather the gun barrel fall out than the figure itself. Right, let's just get him out, shall we? Let's just get him out. Okay. Initially, feels very nice to the touch. I'm not sure if he's actually as heavy as what 1.0 version is, but we'll pop him to one side for a moment. Alright, so he's to one side. I'll get the accessories out. I'll just line them all up here so I can look at them individually. What have we got here? Oh, that. Nothing there. No. Nothing down there. Oh. I lost that. Right. Get them all out here. I'll move the camera down a bit so we can see those. That's better. Right, where do we start? Okay, I'll start with this. So we've got a little baggie here with the matrix of leadership in. And that comes on a small chain, like so. Is that the front or the back? No, it's been moulded same on both sides. So there we go. Little matrix of leadership. Again, don't worry about if it's not going into focus. There will be lots of photos to come anyway, because I'll be doing the usual written review as well with photographs. So that, yeah, it feels like it's. I mean, the matrix is made out of die cast. That is die cast, and it is a metal chain that it's on. So that's there where he can either hold it in his hand or put it in his around his neck. What we've got next? Okay, next we've got a clip for the display stand, which will go on the universal stand that Fans Toys did a couple of years ago. My only thing with this is the universal stand serves a purpose for a few of the figures that Fans Toys has released up to date. It doesn't really service them all. The one that it doesn't service, which the FT-16, the first issue of Sovereign did, was it won't service Phoenix, Fans Toys Phoenix, because the stand's just not big enough or substantial enough. Because Sovereign 1.0 came with a display stand, which is quite a big, hefty display stand, and that will support and display Phoenix in jet mode. I'm just trying to think if it supports it, if it does it in robot mode as well. It may do. I can't honestly remember. So with not getting a stand in with Sovereign 2.0, if you want to stand to display Phoenix, then you may, if you already have 1.0, that's doing a lot of 1.0s and 2.0s here, then you may have to keep that for the stand. You know, if you are planning on keeping it, or if you want to, you know, if you're planning on selling it, then you may have to sell it without the stand. That's your choice. So yeah, so it's nice that that's in there, and it'll make use of the universal stand. That's translucent plastic, but like clear. I think the display stand's like a translucent blue, I believe. If I've not had it out of the box for a while, but I will do now, so I can take some photos of Sovereign on it. Right, okay, that's that. We've then got a bag full of faces. At least these little baggies are a bit easier to open than the ones from the Skeletron the other day that I did. They were hard to open. So yeah, that's a lot of faces. It's like an expression for every day of the week, and then 2 for the weekend. So varying grimaces. I'll briefly show you them. There's no point me trying to hold up and get into focus on them. But you've got kind of like a bit of a miserable face going off. You've got a bit of a smirk face. I said smirk there, not smurf. We then have a kind of a horror-y, kind of like he's not sure kind of face. Let's see now, what have we got? We have got a laughing face, like ha 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 ha. We've then got that's the shock face. That's the Unicron transforming shock face, isn't it, from the movie? That's what that one is. We've then got an angry grrr face, which could be when he's in Unicron and Hot Rod catches him in the headlights. We've then got a screaming kind of face. And then lastly, we've got another kind of like horrified look face. And that's all the faces. They're all really, really well painted, and they've all got that really nice chromy painted eyes. Which again, when I come to do the photos, you'll be able to see them in more detail. Unless I decide to do the whole turntable thing like I usually do, which will appear in that corner there. But if not, you have to wait for the photos. Right, this bag we have blast effects. So these are quite heavy. Yeah, these are quite heavy, are these? So we've got blast effect 1 that's got like a slight bend or curve on it. But if that's going to be him firing his I was going to say fusion cannon, but I don't know if it is a fusion cannon that Galvatron has. I'll have to look that up, and I'll pop the correct thing on the screen here if I remember, if I can be bothered. So yeah, it's got a bit of a droop on us, that, but that part can be taken out, and if that droop isn't enough for you, you can then have even more of a droop, which I assume is probably I think that's the effect when he's using his fusion cannon. I'll say for the sake of argument, because I'm recording this before I've been and done maybe I should have that time travelling device that Galvatron uses, so I can go back and tell myself what to say. But anyway, yeah, so when he uses that to blast himself, after he's just been formatted from Megatron, and he blasts to land on the no, it's gone. That's going to have to come up on screen again. The name of the ship that Unicron gives them. Oh, what the hell is it called? No, it's gone. I'm not wasting time trying to think of it. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not. It's a lump of purple plastic. I'm not overstruck. They did the same with 1.0, which when I do the photos, I will do comparisons between the accessories on both. The last of the baggies we have. Get into it. Oh, there we go. The fusion cannon get off attachment, so you can attach the fusion cannon to his arm. I'm still calling it fusion cannon, by the way, because I've not corrected myself. There we go. I'm just wondering if that's part of the transformation. Yeah, I think that's for part of the transformation. So yeah, so that's that. Pop that there, and then it gets us to the actual main bulk body of the fusion cannon. So that's the animated one, which is all painted. I mean, it's a lovely shade of orange, and it does have a metallic fleck in it. It is nice. And then we've got the one that I'll be using, because it's translucent plastic. What are you going to do? And there we go. And it looks like it does have a light up feature. I wonder, does it have a light up feature in both? It does, yes. So they've not scrimped there. They've got, of course, batteries not included. They've not scrimped there, which is good. I wonder what battery needs to go in it. I'll look at that later. I'll do a cut edit in a bit, and So yeah, so that way around is for when it goes into his cannon mode, and it's this way around when he's in his robot mode. And then that's the attachment thing there to attach it to his arm. And same with the with this one, translucent one. It works exactly the same principle. This is just a little bit stiffer as this one. When in doubt, reach for your Lego tool. There we go. Yep, there we go. And we've got a light up feature bulb thing there as well. Splendid, splendid. Right then, that's all the accessories. Shall we get the figure up and take it the figure? And that were it. That's the abandoned bit. I've tagged this on to the end because in between doing the first bit, sorting, putting that abandoned bit in and then coming to edit and finish it all off, the batteries for the light up feature arrived. That's what I'm going to show you now, because I don't want to keep you any longer than I need to. So let me just flip that over, and here we go. Yeah, the arm's still doing that, just in case you wanted to know. I have tried tightening it, and it's not made a blind bit of difference. So that's a QC issue that I will be reporting back, because it's a lot of money for a figure to have that kind of issue. You don't want that kind of issue. I've just realised I've cut my finger there. Don't know I've done that, but right, who cares? Right, pop into one side, and I'll need me Lego tool again to there we go. Just prise it open. So yeah, like I say, you have to prise it open to get to the button that you use to switch it on, which is there. So like I said, the battery's already in, CR1220. It's a little 3-volt button cell. Press the button, and there it's on, look. Ooh, red out. Is red out a thing, is it? I know there's a fade out, white out, and a black out, but yeah, there you go. There's a red. I mean, to be fair, it is bright. It's bright. It's a bright red LED. Let's just pop it back in the other position. Like that. There we go. Let's bring him back in. And there you go. And that's it. That's the sum of the light up feature. It does have a little red lens in there, which, looking at it here, it does look red, but it's not really showing up red on the camera, is it? And it does have a bit of bleed through because it's translucent plastic, but there is a slight, there's not as much bleed through on the more animation look Fusion Cannon. It is still there, but it's not as much as what it is on the translucent because of obvious reasons. So yeah, that's it. There we go. I'll leave it at that. It's time to go. Let's just move back to that. So yeah, just to briefly recap, I'm not down on it. I acknowledge it looks very pretty, looks very nice, but there doesn't seem to be much behind it to support that. You want something that looks a bit... Sorry, you want something that's overall better than just looking good, and I'm sure the more I play about with it and the more time I take with it, that opinion may change, it may not do. But as I said at the start of this this rather odd review kind of look at kind of thing, opinions may change once I get spend a bit of time with it and I come to do the written review. So yeah, right, okay, I'm leaving it at that. I'm going because I'm going to grab a pot of tea and I may even a bag of crisps or a slice of toast. Who knows? Decisions. But I'll see you whenever I see you next. Bye for now. a game.
Vault's a fucking icon.